What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell. So every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Hey, today I want to do part 2 of my little 2-part series on King Richard, the movie. Now, the first video I did, it was mainly about a doctor lady. I don't know her name. You gotta go watch the first video. I can't remember. I'm not gonna give her no shine. Hell with that help. But she was talking about how she understand why they made a movie about, through the scene, I guess about Business Serena through the eyes of the father, trying to, show the father in the positive, the main focal point of the movie. And she was wondering, like, why was it not seen through the eyes of the daughters? Which, as we all know, there's plenty of documentaries, plenty of films about Venus and Serena that's already out there. But for some reason, you got these people that's mad because there's just one movie out. One movie about showing a black father in a positive light. It's a problem. None of the feminists want to come out and all that. Now you want to jump behind strong black women, all because it's the movie's made about Richard Williams. You weren't out here talking about The Blind Side when it's a white woman saving a black man, getting him out of poverty, and he become a great football player. Because even him, was a Michael Moore, even he couldn't stand that movie. He said said it wasn't truthful. But Hollywood don't care. Hollywood got to have a savior for the black people. Like I said, wasn't no uproar about that, but this movie is an uproar about it. And that was funny about it too, is that Venus and Serena signed off on the movie. They didn't make the movie, but they came in at the end, said they'll watch it. If it's a great movie, it's good enough. If it passes the smell test, as they say, they'll put their name on it. And they're going to produce it, and it must have passed the smell test. And you got to remember, Venus and Serena, in public, have not had the greatest relationship with their father. But yet, a movie was made about their father, and they gave it the green light. But anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about that. What I wanted to talk about was the movie, and that's what I'm going to do. But then, I want to talk about another part, and that's about Serena and Venus's older half-sister, who's been in the news lately, speaking her disdain for the movie. At first, when I heard her speak, I was like, man, why don't you just let the movie just, why don't just the movie be the movie? It's great. I'm sure Richard was not a perfect father. It's hard to be a perfect father. Nobody is. It's like I said before, there's no book written that tells you exactly what to do for parenting. It's just not. So I thought maybe she should just, let that be. She was saying how it only talked about like half of his life. It didn't talk about that he had abandoned his first family. But actually, in actuality, the movie did touch on it a little bit through the aspect of the mother, Miss Brandy, what have you. When she spoke on it in a heated argument with Richard, and how she brought up how he like pretty much abandoned his family. And then when the son came around, he was like nonchalant, like he didn't care about him. So it was touched on, but not elaborated on. So I was like, well, since they touched on it, that should have made her, she should have been satisfied with that. But I can't speak on another person's life. No one can. So, as usual, I did some research, put up a few stories, and I'll go over that here in a second, because I think all sides should be heard. All stories should be heard, as many as possible, and then everybody can come to their own conclusions about how they want to feel about Richard Williams in the movie. But with that being said, the movie was great. I think it should have got a little more push, a little more publicity, just because of, number one, Will Smith was an actor. He's an A-list actor. So anything he's like I say, it should be a lot of commercials out for it. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so I may have missed something. You had the young lady, I don't know how to say her name. I don't want to mess it up. I know she was in Lovecraft Country. Played the mother in that. Oh, no, played, not a mother, but the lady who wanted to. Played the mother in that. And she did a great job in that. She did a great job playing Miss Brandy in this film. The film showed, to me, the film was really about the whole family as a whole, how the whole family came together to create the tennis stars of Venus and Serena Williams, because Richard Williams, as you saw here, he wasn't out there like running them back and forth on the court with him. He would like hit them some balls and want them to do drills. And he spoke to them, and told them what to do. In real life, they said that the mother is the one who actually trained herself how to play tennis and was out there on the court, like it showed in the movie. Very small bit, but it showed in the movie that she was out there running with Serena up and down the court, teaching her how to play, the technical aspects of the game. And then they also had the sisters, the older sisters, that I guess you'd call them the step sisters, because they wasn't Richard's kids, but they was the mother's kids. So half sisters, because they was their mother's children. And how they was there and brought to the tennis courts to help train Venus and Serena how to play tennis. So it was a whole family dynamic of everybody sticking together and doing what it takes to complete a mission. And Brother Richard was out there with those short shorts that everybody, laughing about, talking about. And through the movie, I asked myself, "Damn, is he even on a pair of pants?" But I think one scene he wore a pair of pants, and that was it. I'm like, my God, what he get? Tripped me out being, the older man always wearing shorts. That was kind of strange, I'm like, but because like my dad, I don't think I ever seen my dad wear shorts. Maybe a couple of times in his life, but they're about the same age. Maybe he's a little younger, but my dad's a little younger than him, but they're about the same age. But anyway, they would he would take him to the courts in Compton, California. Home of George Bush. Look it up. But by this time, it was the 80s, 90s. Gangs, crack epidemic, at an all-time high. And he's out there training them, and these gang bangers are harassing him. But yet, he's still going out there, no matter he getting beat up, threatening being shot. I think in real life, I don't know. I thought I heard that he had got shot. I could be wrong. But regardless, it didn't stop him from doing what he was going. Didn't stop him from living out his dream or completing the task. So the mom was a nurse. I think she had like 2 jobs, holding the family down for the most part. I think he was a security guard too. He had a job. And when they said $52,000, I'm thinking, dang, $52,000 back in the 90s, that's a lot of in the 80s and 90s, that's a lot of money. I don't care where you live, but then again, they were in California. They had like 5 kids. So $52,000, probably was spent up pretty quick. But down here in Texas, if I would have made $52,000 in the 90s, man, shoot, I think I felt like a king. Even with 5 or 6 kids, I might have had more children if I made that kind of money back then. But anyway, like I said, he wouldn't get ran off by the gangs because his mission was more important. Sometimes you'd be surprised, but I feel that people have to have an end goal or something. You have to have a reason. You have to have a mission, an accomplishment, a goal, if you will. And you have to be ready to sacrifice any and everything to accomplish that. I can remember being in college and I had an instructor who told me that, and this is after, I say this. I had an instructor told me that I was not, seemed like I wasn't grasping the content. Told me there was a disconnect, and then I'll tell her about my life and kids and being divorced and all that, and how I'm in my kids' life every day. And she told me that I would have to be selfish. That what I need to do is be selfish for 2 years, get this degree, and then I have the rest of my life or our lives where the kids can benefit. But I didn't understand that. I couldn't fathom that. I felt I had to do it my way. I had to do it the way I've been doing it. And I struggled doing that. Eventually I got the degree. No, I didn't completely sacrifice everything for 2 years. I wasn't about to abandon my children, nothing like that. I don't think she was saying that. I think she was just saying that I was doing, some of the things I need to just step back from being involved in. Like, just everything, and just had to complete my studies first. Complete my studies, and then after that, 2 years go by. So, once 2 years up, you do everything. And it took I didn't realize it at first, but like I say, eventually I focused more on my studies. But actually, there were things that happened in life that made me have to do what she said do, which I thank the Most High for. That thing, He allowed things to happen to where now I can do the thing that my instructor's telling me that I needed to do, because I wasn't gonna get it. So He was like, "Hey, let me show you how to get it." But yeah, I think everyone needs something that to focus on, that they're willing to sacrifice their own life for, if need be, to accomplish a goal. And that's what I feel that this family did. They sacrificed. Like I said, Richard Williams, he wasn't going to let any gang bangers, wasn't going to let poverty, Compton, drugs, anything stop him from creating these great tennis players. When it came down to the junior circuit, and he took him out of the junior circuit after a short stint, and said they wasn't going to play any tournaments until they become pros. That was against the norm. And everybody that's in tennis at the time spoke against it and thought he was crazy and said it would never work. But in the end, it did work. It worked out perfectly. And I understand him taking his kids out of the, like I said, out of playing so much, playing the junior tournaments and playing daily, every day, all the time, and just burn them out, because sports, children's sports, man, in the last 20 years, I would say, it has become ridiculous. 20, 30 years has become ridiculous. When my kids were younger and they were playing softball, I know they felt like it was a job. Because in the summer, speaking on softball, in the summer, you're playing all these tournaments. You practice 2 or 3 days a week. Then you go to these weekend tournaments. And they can last from Friday to Sunday, or Saturday to Sunday, or it could be an all-day Saturday tournament or an all-day Sunday tournament. You get up a whole weekend, to play a sport, and then you're doing this for the whole entire summer, for most of the summer. Then school starts. If you're in high school, now you're trying to try out for the high school team, and first you have to have played in tournament ball to even be able to try out for these teams. Then you try out, then you make it, so now you're practicing every morning and every afternoon, or whatever period you have athletics. And then you playing 2 games, maybe twice a week, Monday through Friday. And then sometimes on the weekend, your select team will call you in for practice, and you practice them. And you don't play tournaments, so then you got the school's year to play. And then once that season over with, your tournament team is calling saying it's time for practice. So now you're gonna start practicing, and then eventually you finna start doing tournaments. And this goes year round. And like I said, it's like a job. And my oldest child got burnt out to the point, and I said this story before, that she got burnt out. That when she got ready to go to college and she got offers to play at some of the smaller schools, whatever, but I would play at different schools, she was like, "Dad, I don't want to play softball." in college no more. I just don't. I don't like it. It's not fun no more. So, I mean, we worked something out, you know, to where she didn't have to play. I mean, she got academic scholarship, what have you, but she just want to play. She just want to play ball no more. But that's what they turned into. It used to be you used to be able to play 3 sports all the way throughout high school, and then whoever you got a scholarship with, that's where you would go. But now it's like they want you to play one sport and one sport only, and they want you to play year round. That's why a lot of these kids get burnt out. That's why a lot of these kids have injuries, because they're not being given opportunity to grow as children. And in the movie, Richard Williams was like, "You're not going to do that to my children. You're not going to push them and burn them out just so y'all can get y'all entertainment and make y'all money." And matter of fact, during that time, there was a pro tennis player that supposedly was under the coach that they was under, and she played all these tournaments and then became pro, and then they come to find out she was in rehab for drug use. And he was like, "Nah, you're not gonna do my child. They're gonna have a childhood. They're gonna be kids. And then when it's time for them to go pro, they'll go pro." And so I commend him for that. But like I say, it was what else? Brother Williams, he was unapologetic. He had no filter. He didn't care who you were, what your status was. He was gonna say how he felt, and that's just, that was it. When deals was trying to be made, when deals was put out there on the table for his daughter to, be coached by certain coaches, or to have like contracts with, like, say, Nike or whoever, it was like even like him and Venus and the mother. They was all like, "No, we're not gonna take the first offer. It's gonna be better offer." They haven't even seen her play yet. And they offered her $3 million. No, we'll wait. And this is why. And then, all them folk in the movie got all upset and saying this guy's crazy. Why is he going against, what's put in front of him? He think that these girls are going to be this great or whatever. And truth be told, they were. They trying to be like two of the goddesses of the tennis court. You can't knock them for that. But like I said, this movie, I'm not going to say too much about this movie. I really don't, because like I said, when I first was going to do this video, I was going to hype it up, say how great it is, and it is. It's a great movie, seeing a heterosexual black male, strong black male, being portrayed as a great father, was a determined father to make sure his kids succeeded, which is what he did, which is what his plan was. And you see interviews with Venus and Sabrina, they'll tell you the same thing. This man had a crazy plan. He was ahead of his time, and it worked out to perfection. People might say that he was hard, but as a black man, it's kind of hard not to be. It's just kind of hard not to be when you're training kids, because you can't babyfy these children. We know it from our perspective. A lot of us don't know how to babyfy children, because we know what it's like out there when you get out there in the real world. But with that being said, like I said, I wanted to do a whole long, great video and be all rah-rah, but again, there's another side to this, and it comes from Venus and Serena's oldest half sister. So her name was Sabrina. And she did an interview and saying that, it said in the title, it's like the sun.com.uk. And it says, Serena Williams' half sister reveals how dad left mom to bring up 6 kids alone, but would love to meet her siblings. Now she says that Brother Williams probably have about 16 to 20 kids out there, from Shreveport to California, and probably Michigan too, because I believe he was born in Shreveport. So he moved to Michigan after he got out of high school, met Serena and Venus's mother, married. They got married like a year later. Within that year they had Venus. They moved to California. I think they moved to California, and that's where they raised them. I think I read somewhere where they actually started like playing tennis in Shreveport, and then like ended up going to Compton, back to Compton or what have you, or living in the rest is history. But like I said, this article states that it said Richard Williams told his eldest daughter Sabrina when she was 8 that he was going out to buy her a bike before walking out of the door, never to return, leaving wife Betty to raise their 6 children. Now I'm sure as a child this is heartbreaking, to have your dad leave and not come back. But we always tell children, don't feel like you are to blame for anything, because it's not. It's the adults, and a lot of times there's something in the most of the time there's something in the relationship of the parents, which and I'm not condoning it, because I feel a man should take care of his children regardless. But a lot of people have these psychological problems they've grown up with, and they just can't shake it. Maybe that's why he was so adamant on trying to prove to himself maybe that he could be a good father by doing for Venus and Serena, and maybe that's the whole reason behind why he did them the way he did. But anyway, I want to go into this young lady's story just for a minute. And it said after he left to go get that bike. So a few years later, Richard started a new life with another woman and had 2 girls, Serena and Venus, who went on to become tennis legends. They say, now speaking for the first time about the famous Williams dynasty, Sabrina, a trainee chaplain, she's getting into the ministry, is telling all about her heartbreaking childhood. Despite growing up estranged from her dad and famous sisters, she said she still has a lot of love for her family and hopes one day they can all meet and put this behind them. But the 55-year-old feels now is the time to tell the truth about Dad Richard, who said was a serial philanderer, and how she may have numerous secret brothers and sisters across the U.S. It's possible. Anyway, she said, I know there's more siblings. I was told between 15 and 19 all over the place, from L.A. to Louisiana, she told Sun Online. My mom always argued with my dad about his affairs. He was a serial cheat. I remember that was always the main thing they talk about. And see, this is pretty sad. She was the oldest child, right? So if he left when she was 8, that means they had these conversations while she was in the room or in earshot of what they're saying. And I'll say this is a problem. And I'm gonna say, if these are conversations they had, that means the mother brought up these conversations. And this is something that parents have to understand. There are some conversations that you cannot have around children while they're babies, while they're children. Now, there are things you need to teach kids, and you can't sugarcoat and rose-colored glass their life, when they're children. But there are ways to introduce subjects, and there are ways, to talk about things. Now, if he's out there cheating, he comes home, and they're arguing. And they're arguing in front of this girl, this child. And I'm sure the mother's probably cussing them out, and they're going back and forth, cussing each other out. I'm sure they probably get physical at some point. All this while the child is seeing this is not good for the kid. Not at all. My parents, I can't remember them having a real argument in front of me and my sister ever in my life. And there have been times where I might wake up in the middle of the night, not because they're arguing, because they're not, but I'm just up, can't sleep, and I can hear them talking in the back. I can hear them talking, because my room's on this side of the house and the room's on the other side of the house. Not this house, but the house I grew up in. But my room would be here, and they'd be in the hall. But you can hear them talking, and they may be discussing. They may be arguing about something, but it wasn't often. But again, I would never hear them argue. My dad never raised his voice. My dad talked. I was a quiet talking man. My mom might raise her voice and get mad or what have you. My dad never raised his voice. unless he's yelling at you across the woods or something. But I would never hear that. So to see this, so when I get older and you see people doing this, it kind of threw me off, and I didn't really understand it. And I think even the past relationship, it caused me to even start doing it. But now it's like I'm, you know what I'm saying, to figure out, starting to calm down. But anyway, like I say, it's not good for the children to see that type of activity with the adults. And that's something, like I say, us in our community have to realize. Okay, so she going to say, he's a selfish man, lives only for himself. He just uses his kids to get what he needs. He's not a dad. He was just a sperm donor. Remember that word, because something else she says later kind of contradicts that a little bit. He had 5 kids and left them to my mom to grow up in poverty and never once helped. Now, again, that was touched on in the movie when his second wife brought it up in a disagreement they had in the kitchen. How he just, left his first family, and when his son showed up, he acted like, like, who is this dude? No, basically she said he was just nonchalant about it and kept it moving like he didn't care. Now, why would a person do that if you have 5 kids? You need to tell me there's like no love at all for your children? It just don't make sense. So basically, like I said, he left when she was 8, so he had like 5 kids within an 8 years time frame. So again, so these kids are hearing these arguments that the parents are having. This previous untold story starts in Los Angeles, where Richard, now 77, was living with his then wife, Betty Johnson. She had 1 child from another relationship, Katrina Jones, who's 61 now, and they have 5 more children. The eldest, Sabrina, Richard III, Ronner, Reluse, and Renika. I had 2 childhoods. The childhood from 1 to 8 was fantastic, Sabrina called. So that kind of contradicts what she was saying in a whole. Saying he wasn't a dad, he was selfish, he was just a sperm donor, but yet you go on to say the childhood from 1 to 8 was fantastic. I remember my dad being there. We didn't want for anything. When I was with my dad, I was very happy. So, does this mean that he really wasn't selfish in the beginning, but then turned selfish? What would cause him to do an about face? But my mom and dad did fight a lot. I won't lie. The last fight I remember, my mom hit my dad with a frying pan as he was being aggressive to her, and she was tired of it. I was 8 when my dad left, and he said he was getting a bite from me, and that's when the last I saw of him. My mom told me later that he's never coming back. We went from having everything to having nothing. The best dresses, parties, we go places. Now there was no new shoes or clothes. I thought I was Dad's favorite, and he loved me to death. So again, the question is, what changed this man's way of thinking or living? I've seen stories where men are not in their children's lives, and the kids are bitter, have a lot of animosity toward their dad. And again, I'm not condoning it, because if you're a father and you got kids, you should be doing everything you can to be a part of your kids' life. But with that being said, I know there are a lot of mothers, and a lot of it has to do on the dad's part. A lot of it has to do with not understanding the law, and not really going out there and doing the research, or not having the resources, or feeling they don't have the resources to actually do anything. Because in this society, if you get divorced, or you go to like family court, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna give, 9 times out of 9, really 9.5, they're gonna give the child to the mother, no matter, unless she's like strung out, homeless, and the dad can raise them, they're gonna give the child to the mother. But unless that's the situation, the mom could be in the projects, on food stamps, 5 other kids, ain't working, barely making it, and the dad can be over here being a millionaire. They're not gonna give the kids to the dad. All they're gonna do is have the dads pay child support. because it's about that money. But that's a whole other story. Like I say, sometimes the guys don't know. There are times when men can get the custody of their children. It's just a lot of hard work, and you got to know somebody who knows something, and it can happen. It happens more often than not than we know. But again, it's just something that a lot of people don't know. So, as I was saying, back to what I was saying, there's a lot of guys I know who are not in their kids' life, and the thing they've told me is that it's about the mom. And like I said, I'm not condoning the guy like, dude, they ain't got the relationship with you and the mama ain't got nothing to do with the kids. It's like the mom won't let me see the kids, or the mom got another dude and they, trying to start some drama, try to go see the kids, and the dude want to fight, or the mom always asking for money, or if I ain't sleeping with the mama, she ain't trying to deal with me, or she's trying to break up me and my new woman's relationship or whatever, or not every week, but we on child support, and every time I look up, I'm back in court. If I get another job, if I get a raise, I'm back in court trying to raise child support. Man, I just don't want to. If I got to deal with her, then I just rather not deal with anybody. And it's a sad case, but that's where a lot of guys feel, because they feel that's the only option they got, because they rather be at peace and not deal with all that drama than they have to deal with all that drama, stress, and everything just to see their kids when they feel they shouldn't have to, and they shouldn't. But Richard Williams' situation, I don't know. But like the daughter said, he did cheat a lot. So that could be the basis of a lot of the arguments of the world. They got into it so much, and who knows what it was, but he said he's done, he walked out. She was tired, he was tired. You know what I'm saying? It's three sides to every story, as they say. So who knows why he left and just abandoned his kids after 8 years, like she said, were the greatest. She said, but once he left, within a year, we became very poor. There wasn't always meals on the table. Why she didn't put this man on child support, I don't know. That's another thing I don't understand about a lot of women is, why don't y'all put these men on child support? You weren't the only one. Well, maybe she did, but I never heard no stories about it though. But a lot of times these women say, I'm not gonna put him on child support. I ain't that type of guy. I ain't that type of woman. If he want to take care of his kids, take care of his kids. He don't. Okay, if he's taking care of his kids, then no, don't put him on child support. If he's there every day for his children, don't put him on child support. But if he's not there, if he just up and abandoned, ain't supplying no money, ain't supplying no time for them kids, I think you need to get the peoples on him, because you did not create this child yourself. But you said, I can't force him to do anything he don't want to do. To me, it's a retarded way of thinking. There wasn't always meals on the table. We went downhill. My mom became stressed out with 6 kids. Trying to provide for us, she became aggressive. And that's what women don't understand. People always want to talk about how strong these independent single women are. Man, that's a recipe for disaster. I don't know why, I don't know anybody. I'm a grown man. I do not want to have to raise one child by myself if I create them with someone else, let alone 6 by myself and not even asking for any help. If I had to raise a child by myself, man, look at here. Me and you, we ain't together. We ain't got a relationship, but you're going to be a part of, no, I take that back. As a man, I probably wouldn't demand anything from the mother. I'd be like, I think I would probably do like these mothers would do. If you don't want to be there, then you don't want to be there, and then that's fine. We'll make it on our own. I think that's what I would do as a man, but to me, it's the difference between men and women in this world. Because I think we handle situations different. We discipline children different. and we don't put up with a lot of stuff. Women say they don't put up with a lot of stuff, but they do. They put up with a lot. They can be violent. They can be passive and submissive, but they put up with a lot. We don't put up with a lot. You either gonna do it. If you feel like you can't do it, you gotta go. Or you gonna do it. Trust me. You're gonna either do it my way or you're gonna do it my way. But either way, you're gonna do it my way. So, like I said, I don't think I would demand, I would expect it. If I got the help, that's great. But if I didn't, what the hell with it? His desertion hit the family very hard. I just learned that if I stayed in my room and kept the house clean, I wouldn't get my blank beat. So basically, I guess their mother was violent toward the kids. It would be with anything my mom could find, an ironing cord, a hanger. I learned not to annoy her. See, that's in this day. Well, hell, that's child abuse. In my teens, I was always thinking about suicide. I tried it once. It was always with me, and it was about my dad. And I had mental health issues, and that's another issue. There's a lot of mental health issues going on in our community that we do not address, that need to be taken care of. Now these governors and mayors and stuff can create these places where drug addicts can go and shoot up for free, or go shoot up in the comfort of the government watching and make sure they don't die. But when it comes to mental health issues in the black community, man, they ain't trying to do nothing. I remember that she hit me one time with her ring and it bruised my eye. I said, I'm done, and I moved out. I lived in my car for 6 or 7 months. I was 20 or 21. I just couldn't take anymore. 2021, I think I've been at the house about 3 years by then. Over the course of their childhood, Sabrina remembers Richard turned up just once at the doorstep when she was 10, and then spoke to him again at college. Somehow I got a hold of my dad through a relative and asked for $1,000 to pay some of the college bill at Hope Christian University. He said, I wonder how she got a scholarship, or maybe she got like loans and grants, because remember she didn't have no money, so she had school, got bills. He said he don't give me the money as a loan. That's when I knew he was a a-hole. Now that's rough. After college, I was done with my dad. He had never paid any child support, and all he wanted to do was give me a loan. And Sabrina flitted in and out of jobs in her 20s in social and probation services, but struggled to contain her anger, one time pulling a gun on her cousin. I hated being like him. I was angry and bitter, and I had come to terms with my life. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these parents don't understand the trauma that you cause with these kids and what you do around these kids. They see it. Adults like to think that they can hide stuff from children, but children are too young to understand things. But when you're born, that's when you start learning. The powers that be know that they can control a kid's mind when you go to school and they teach you what they want you to learn. But yet we try to act like, we'll wait till our kids is 16, 17, 18 and start teaching them about life, and it's too late. They've already been trained. They've already turned to who they're going to turn to. They say by the age of 13, a person is who they're going to be. So if you think at 20, 21, she had an abusive mother, had a dad that abandoned her, her odds were not that great. Maybe if he stayed around like he did with Venus and Sabrina, perhaps her 20s and 20s would have been a whole lot better. Anyway, it was around this time Sabrina was hearing about her much younger half-sister Serena and Venus, who were making their mark as tennis juniors. Everything around them was always hush-hush. If I was ever around at a relative's house, it would be all quiet like I was a spy. Because they know how you would feel. They know you would feel some type of way about it. Probably not knowing why, but they knew how you would feel. I think they did that as I was my dad's first child. They didn't want me to know what was really going on. And then say face, she would pretend they all got along. She said, I was still in contact with my dad, went on vacation, but it was all a lie. He said I didn't meet Venus and Sabrina Williams until I bumped into them by complete chance at Knott's Berry Farm. Let's say like this. Another thing, there's a big age difference. Something you also got to realize. There's a big age difference between Sabrina and Venus and Serena. Venus and Serena is 37, 39. This young lady here, the sister is 55. So we're talking 15, 20 years, almost 20 years gap with people who've never met for whatever reason. So to say that we kind of harp on that, you know, that she never met her sisters and stuff, and then she want like kind of in like in the article she speak out how she's kind of feels the type of way about them not reaching out to her. It's like it's an age gap there, and then you got two people who travel the world and are pretty busy, and even though y'all are blood, it's not like y'all grew up together, you know. I have a sibling. Me and my sister are like 7 years apart. We don't talk all the time. We don't talk much. We text each other when we see each other. My mom's house, we'll speak, talk like that. But we don't just sit on the phone and talk for hours. We don't, you know, we just don't do that. I mean, because it's an age gap. First of all, she's a girl. And I'm the older brother. I mean, I'm always at for if she need anything. But as like just talk. That's just the type of person I am. I just don't do that with anybody. So you can imagine being like 15, 20 years, 18, 19 years older or different than the older brother or sister. It's not gonna always be that kind of communication with people. She said her brother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She ended up dying, I believe, in 1998. She said he had no interest whether she was dead or alive. It was utterly mind-numbing that my dad could not even come to my mom's funeral. Again, there's something in that relationship that we don't know. Because it's hard to fathom somebody who had 5 kids and was there for you every day, that you tell her gave you the best life, but they would fight a lot. And now that she's dead, he didn't want to come to her funeral. So there's some hatred there somewhere. There is some hatred somewhere. I'm gonna go on to saying about how she got 2 boys and that Richard said that he didn't even care about her kids or what have you. And like I say, it's a deep story. I'm gonna leave it in the description box because the video getting kind of long here. I want to say this, man. Like I say, you never know what people go through in their life. You don't know, just don't. I mean, we see Venus and Serena, and they was great tennis stars, and we try to live vicariously through them on that screen, or we did. But then, like I said, you find out that they don't really have a great relationship with their dad for whatever reason. It's never really made public. This young lady here, she finally comes out and tells her story and saying why she feel the way she do and why she not really, you know, don't feel good about the movie, because the movie gonna show like one side of him, which I mean, a 2-hour movie is not gonna show all sides of anything, you know, truth be told. Think about like Dr. Dre's daughter and how she come out saying like her dad ain't doing nothing for her. She pretty much homeless, got a bunch of kids and don't know how she gonna make it, and he's not doing anything for her. But yet then you come to find out that they said that he did pay bills, put her through school and stuff for years, and then she come out, and for some reason I guess he cut off for whatever reason. And so then she come out and, you know, she put these stories out, and then all of a sudden now he's like a deadbeat dad when they say he's been there for a long time, although he doesn't communicate with her mother. He was still there for her for a little while. So, like I said, you never know what people are going through. But back to the movie. I like the movie. Like I said, enjoyed it. Think it was a great movie. I still think you should see it. Just on the aspect of, like I said, just showing a black man in a positive light. Maybe it can inspire people to do right. Maybe it's like something inspired him to do right by his 2 daughters. Now, if he got 18, 19 kids out there, I don't know. Don't know about that one. But anyway, tell me what you think about both of these stories. Leave your comments in the box, you know, down in the comment box below. If you want to support the channel, go to the description box, click on the website, purchase some merchandise. So instead of, you know, I think it's fair exchange, instead of just giving money, give money, you get a product. You got a YouTube channel, plan on starting a YouTube channel, click that tube buddy link. You know, you can use a free subscription or the paid. Either way to help you streamline this thing is show you what the hot topics are. You can find the hot stories, the hashtags and the keywords you can use to help get viewership, which in turn increase your subscribers and your supporters, which is what it's all about anyway, to get that content out there. And with that being said, I leave y'all the same way I came. And that's a peace.